Despite the years, WUGGY is still the reference character of Poppy Playtime, and his appearance in this third chapter didn't disappoint. Join me to create this nightmare version of WUGGY with clay, and also I will be telling you more about him, so get comfortable and enjoy this video. WUGGY, also known as Experiment 1170, is a toy produced by Playtime Co. that made its debut in Chapter 1 of Poppy Playtime as the main antagonist. As stated by Playtime Co., WUGGY is one of their most successful products. WUGGY was initially introduced in Chapter 1 as a statue in the main lobby of the factory. However, once the player restores power to the entire facility, WUGGY mysteriously disappears. Throughout the chapter, WUGGY makes occasional brief appearances until he finally reveals himself and begins to chase the player during the intense pursuit in the event sequence. Towards the end of the chapter, he is seen falling into the abyss of the Playtime Co factory. During chapter 3, entitled Deep Sleep, WUGGY makes a minor appearance as an antagonist. While trapped in a hallucination caused by Catnap gas, the player discovers a VHS tape that greets new employees. In this new chapter, upon entering Home Sweet Home and going downstairs, the player will find a room filled with red smoke. But despite all these warnings, the player enters and it seems that all is well. However, Catnap puts the player perfectly into a trance inside his mind, while in reality, he remains unconscious. Catnap turns Home Sweet Home into a nightmarish maze filled with disturbing images of children and creepy messages carved into the wood. As the player unknowingly wanders the place without his only source of defense, his grab pack, out of nowhere, a radio will turn on and mention the following.
Tragic news this morning. As of 9:45 a.m., local authorities report that the body of a young boy has been found on the estate of the late Elliot Ludwig, an esteemed toy maker and originator of the Playtime Company. At this time, an identity for the child awaits official confirmation. Found in an upstairs bedroom in a large duffel bag, officers on scene report that the remains appear to have been disturbed. Organs as well as key bones from the skeletal structure were reported missing from the body. It is unknown at this time whether this extraction was, in fact, the cause of death. Following recent events, Playtime Co. was asked for any comment regarding the discovery. This is what they had to say. Quote, "It's sickening. Elliot Ludwig was a great man, and those who knew him understood that he was not capable of violence, let alone what others now claim. He had a deep love in his heart for children like this one, making the actions of whoever planted this body all the more sick. We look forward to clearing his good name, both in the public eye and in the eyes of the law." Stay tuned for more.
Once the radio recording ends, a phone will start ringing. It will be inside a small room, and the player will hear Ollie's voice telling him to run away from there. As we continue moving forward, we will arrive at a larger and somewhat strange room, since there will be several beds, a kitchen, and a TV, along with a VCR. In one of the beds, we will find a tape titled Welcome to Playtime, and when we play it in the VCR, an image will appear on the TV of a friendly WUGGY, along with the voice of a very friendly employee who mentions the following.
Greetings, employees, and welcome to your first day here in Playtime. We're certain that in the days to come, you'll find your new family here every bit as loving and supportive as your own. Feel free to wander the halls, sit in the mess for lunch, or watch our children play and learn to their little heart's content. Join the innovationists where the bounds of science are continuously pushed. Or join the counselors of Playcare whose diligence and care for our children will help shape a brighter future. Just you see. Now, every one of you has your part in that future, so should you come back tomorrow feeling unhappy for where you are or what you've done, worry not, for your supervisor is here and happy to listen.
But from one moment to the next, the image of Huggy Wuggy will change to a nightmarish version, and the voice of the employee will become even more bizarre and scary.
And should you come back years later, your conscience finally getting the better of you, may you descend into the dark and the dust, finding all that awaits you are incomprehensible horrors, each hungry for your return, each eager that they might find you. Perhaps they'd smile at you from a shadow, their smiling mouths full of teeth and meat and plastic, watching and waiting patiently for their turn at a warm welcome. Or perhaps they won't allow you such time to figure your place in the world you'd left, a world that's theirs now. Welcome home.
Suddenly, a monstrous version of Huggy Wuggy emerges from the TV and begins to chase the player. Helpless, the player has no choice but to head down the endless corridor through which he had entered earlier. The monstrous Huggy Wuggy taunts the player, intentionally slowing down as he approaches, before finally giving him a tremendous scare. Suddenly, the player wakes up in the real world, lying on the floor of his sweet home. And curiously, on the floor is a Huggy Wuggy toy, but it is headless and with a pool of blood. Later, during chapter 3, Catnap knocks the player out and puts him in a lucid trance. Using Poppy's voice, Catnap tries to dissuade the player from entering the Playtime co-factory. Through the voice of Poppy, Catnap poses questions that are answered through vague hallucinations of animated environments before happy hour, showing happy children running around Home Sweet Home and Playhouse. The sequence attempts to put the player in the perspective of the toys, demonstrating that the happy hour is a retaliatory event against Playtime Co. and its larger body initiative. Toward the end of the dream sequence, the player finds himself in a black void with only Huggy Wuggy present. Catnap, speaking through Poppy's voice, asks the player,
"Do you even know what's real?"
and then declares,
"No, you don't."
in a more concentrated tone than before, ending the echo. Later, the player is taken to the main lobby once again, invaded by the red smoke and its shattered glass dome. Presumably, taking the perspective of Huggy Wuggy, the prototype approaches Huggy, who is then able to return to the beginning of the Hour of Joy as the prototype took control of Huggy and ordered him to kill everything in sight. This has been all for the moment. I hope you like this nightmare version of Huggy Wuggy. If you want me to make more characters of this chapter, let me know in the comments. Also, I invite you to subscribe and leave your like. With this, you support me a lot. Greetings, take care, and see you in the next video.